At any given moment, your body functions as a coordinated network of 30 trillion microscopic 24/7 operating cities. Each of these cities is a single cell, the absolute smallest fundamental living unit of any organism. Every single cell on Earth shares 3 distinct structures, regardless of its species or function. They all possess a cell membrane, cytoplasm, and DNA. The cell membrane acts as a physical boundary between the cell and its environment. The cytoplasm is a jelly-like fluid that fills the interior, and the DNA serves as the genetic material, the instructional code that dictates the cell's behavior. This universal triad of a boundary, a fluid suspension, and genetic instructions forms the baseline for all biological existence. Cells diverge into 2 broad categories based on their internal complexity. Prokaryotic cells are simple, unicellular organisms like bacteria. They have genetic material, but it's not contained within a nucleus. It floats freely within the cytoplasm. Eukaryotic cells are advanced structures found in plants and animals. They contain a defined nucleus and various specialized compartments. These compartments are called organelles, which means little organs. Each organelle performs a unique job to keep the cell functioning. The development of membrane-enclosed organelles allowed eukaryotic cells to organize complex chemical reactions, providing the biological foundation for multicellular life. In a eukaryotic cell, the nucleus acts as the control center. It houses the DNA, which dictates what the cell does and how it executes its tasks. Inside, DNA takes the form of chromatin, a tangled mass. When preparing to divide, it condenses into distinct chromosomes. The nucleus also houses the nucleolus, where ribosomes are manufactured. Ribosomes leave to build proteins, floating freely or attaching to the endoplasmic reticulum, a membrane-enclosed passageway. Rough ER has ribosomes attached to its surface, while smooth ER does not. This pipeline, from nuclear instructions to ER protein synthesis, converts genetic code into the physical building blocks of life. Once synthesized, proteins leave the ER in small sacs called vesicles and enter the Golgi apparatus. The Golgi body processes these materials by folding proteins into usable shapes and adding other elements like lipids or carbohydrates. Animal cells manage waste through lysosomes. These are filled with enzymes that break down damaged cell parts and cellular debris. Powering these processes is the mitochondrion. Through cellular respiration, mitochondria produce ATP, molecules that provide the energy for all cellular activities. Plant cells contain unique structures, including a rigid cell wall for support and a large central vacuole that stores water. Plants also have chloroplasts. These organelles contain a green pigment called chlorophyll, which captures sunlight to drive the process of photosynthesis. These organelles maintain a microscopic economy, balancing energy production, structural support, and waste removal to keep the cell alive. Cells maintain their shape through a cytoskeleton. This internal framework consists of thread-like protein microfilaments and thin, hollow tubes called microtubules. Some cells use external structures for movement. In the human respiratory tract, for example, cells are lined with cilia. Cilia are microscopic hair-like projections that move in waves. This motion traps inhaled particles and expels them when you cough. Another feature is the flagellum, a tail-like structure used for propulsion. In humans, the only cell with a flagellum is the sperm cell. This physical architecture, whether internal scaffolding or external appendages, is adapted to the specific survival strategy of the cell. To summarize the laws of biology, every cell possesses a cell membrane, cytoplasm, and genetic material. Prokaryotes are unicellular and lack a nucleus. Eukaryotes are complex cells with a defined nucleus and membrane-bound organelles. Only plants have cell walls and chloroplasts, though both plants and animals rely on mitochondria for energy. This microscopic layout explains the underlying mechanics of every living organism on Earth.